On the day Jessica Monroe was supposed to say, "I do," she simply vanished. No warning, no note, no sign of struggle, just gone. How does a bride disappear on the most important day of her life? What could have pulled her away from her own wedding, leaving everyone stunned and searching for answers? This wasn't just a missing person case, it was a mystery that shook a whole town and left questions no one was ready to answer. If you're drawn to stories that unravel the unexpected and explore the darkest corners of human nature, then make sure to like this video and subscribe. You won't want to miss a moment of what really happened in Texas. Jessica Monroe was a young woman full of hope and dreams, ready to start a new chapter of her life. She lived in a quiet town in Texas, a place where everyone knew each other and life seemed simple. Jessica had planned her wedding for months, excited to marry the man she loved and to celebrate with family and friends. But on that day, everything changed. Just hours before the ceremony, Jessica disappeared without a trace. Her family was left confused and heartbroken, searching for answers that did not come. The people who knew her best began to wonder if they really understood her at all. As the investigation unfolded, it became clear that beneath the calm surface of this small town, there were hidden secrets and unexpected betrayals. What started as a hopeful celebration turned into a painful mystery that haunted everyone connected to Jessica. The questions kept piling up: who could want her gone? What truths were being kept in the shadows? And what had happened to the young woman who vanished on the day she was supposed to say, "I do"? This story is about much more than a missing bride. It is about the ties that bind families, the secrets they hide, and the lengths people will go to protect or destroy the ones they love. Jessica Monroe was known by many as a bright and caring young woman. She grew up in this small Texas town, surrounded by a family who loved her deeply. From a young age, she had dreams of building a happy life, one filled with love, laughter, and stability. Friends described her as kind-hearted and determined, someone who always put others before herself. She worked at a local boutique and spent her free time volunteering at community events. Jessica had planned her wedding with great care, imagining it as the start of a new, joyful chapter. Brandon Ellis was the man Jessica was set to marry. He came from a family that had lived in the area for generations. On the surface, Brandon seemed steady and devoted, someone who could provide the life Jessica hoped for. But behind closed doors, their relationship had its struggles. Those closest to them spoke quietly of disagreements and moments when things didn't seem quite right. Some friends noticed that Brandon could be controlling at times, though no one expected the kind of disappearance that would follow. Leading the investigation was Detective Martinez, a woman with years of experience handling difficult cases. She was known for her calm approach and attention to detail, qualities that would be tested throughout this investigation. From the moment she arrived, Martinez faced the challenge of piecing together a story that seemed full of gaps and contradictions. With limited evidence and a community full of questions, she worked tirelessly to uncover the truth, knowing the pressure was high and time was running out. Among the people who last saw Jessica were her closest friends and family. Her mother, filled with worry and disbelief, struggled to accept that her daughter could be gone without a trace. Bridesmaids who had shared the day with Jessica remembered the moments before she disappeared, the smiles, the laughter, but also the subtle unease that some had sensed but could not explain. Each of these witnesses carried pieces of the story, their memories becoming crucial threads in the search for answers. Together, these people shaped a complex story: a young woman with dreams interrupted, a fiancé with questions surrounding him, an investigator determined to find the truth, and a community trying to hold on to hope. As their stories unfolded, it became clear that this was more than just a missing person case. It was a tangled web of emotions, secrets, and unanswered questions that demanded to be understood. The morning of Jessica's wedding began like any other special day. The air was filled with excitement as bridesmaids gathered in a small suite near the church, helping Jessica prepare. The church itself was a quaint, white building nestled in Waco, Texas, surrounded by tall oak trees that swayed gently in the breeze. The reception was planned at a nearby hall, decorated with soft flowers and warm lights, ready to welcome family and friends for a joyful celebration. Jessica seemed calm but focused as she moved through the day's preparations. She laughed with her friends while the makeup artist worked carefully, and she checked her phone frequently, as if waiting for a message or a call. The early hours passed with the usual mix of nerves and happiness, but beneath the surface, a quiet tension lingered, though no one could say exactly why. Guests began arriving at the church, greeting one another with smiles and hugs, unaware that this day would soon turn into a nightmare. The ceremony was scheduled for the afternoon, and everything seemed to be on track. Yet, just before the procession was to start, Jessica was nowhere to be found. Those closest to her searched the church and the grounds, but there was no sign of her. No one had seen her leave, and no one could explain her sudden disappearance. Panic spread quickly among the guests. Brandon was the first to raise the alarm, his voice trembling as he called out her name. Family members hurried to look through every possible place, the dressing rooms, the parking lot, even the nearby streets. The sense of confusion grew heavier with each passing minute. Some wondered if she had simply slipped away in a moment of anxiety, while others feared something far worse had happened. As the hours went on, police arrived and began their investigation. The more they uncovered, the more questions surfaced. There were reports of strange phone calls Jessica had received in the days leading up to the wedding, calls that made her visibly upset. Some family members spoke of old conflicts resurfacing, tensions between Brandon and Jessica's relatives that had never been fully resolved. Friends recalled arguments they had witnessed but had brushed off as normal relationship struggles. Among the clues were missing personal items, her wedding bouquet, left untouched in the hall, and a small purse that vanished without explanation. There were whispers of late-night visitors to the couple's home in the week before the wedding, people who were never identified. All these details hinted at a story deeper than a simple disappearance. With every new lead, the mystery grew darker. What had happened to Jessica Monroe on the day she was meant to marry? Was her vanishing an act of desperation, or was there someone who wanted her gone? The answers were buried beneath layers of fear, secrets, and unanswered questions, waiting to be uncovered. The disappearance was first reported by Brandon Ellis himself. Growing more frantic as minutes turned into hours, he called the police late that afternoon, his voice shaky and filled with disbelief. He explained how Jessica had vanished just before the ceremony, how no one had seen her leave, and how the family and guests were desperate for any sign of her. The call set off a chain reaction that quickly drew officers and detectives to the scene. Detective Martinez was among the first to arrive. She moved swiftly, knowing time was critical in cases like this. Her first steps involved interviewing everyone present, the family, the wedding party, and the guests, looking for any small detail that might explain Jessica's sudden absence. Officers searched the church and surrounding areas, while Martinez coordinated with dispatch to organize a wider search in the nearby town and countryside. Early in the investigation, police found a few pieces of evidence that raised new questions. A car belonging to Brandon was discovered parked some distance from the church, its doors unlocked, but no one inside. Phone records revealed several calls made to Jessica in the hours before the wedding, but the caller was unknown or had no clear connection to the couple. A note, brief and cryptic, was found in Jessica's room days before, hinting at fear but giving no clear explanation. Despite these leads, many turns in the investigation proved to be dead ends. Several individuals became suspects based on rumors or strained relationships, only to be cleared after questioning. Family disputes surfaced, but no clear motive or proof linked anyone directly to Jessica's disappearance. The case grew more complicated as false leads distracted from the real clues. The story quickly caught the attention of local news outlets across Texas. Reports ran daily, and soon social media was flooded with theories, prayers, and pleas for information. Community members held vigils, lighting candles and sharing memories of Jessica, hoping for her safe return. Yet, amid this support, the pressure on the police mounted, and every new piece of information was scrutinized under the public eye. Then came the unexpected. An individual, previously unnoticed, emerged with information that shifted the investigation in a new direction. A friend of Jessica's came forward, revealing conversations and events no one else knew about. This led to a confession that shocked those involved, one that revealed hidden parts of Jessica's life and challenged what people thought they knew about her and Brandon. The confession forced the investigation to rethink the entire story, opening doors to new questions and deeper mysteries that would change the course of the search forever. Despite months of searching, Jessica Monroe was never found. The hope that she might be discovered alive slowly faded, replaced by a heavy silence that settled over the town and her family. Investigators followed every lead, retraced steps, and interviewed countless people, but no concrete answers emerged. Theories about what happened to her ranged from the believable to the far-fetched. Some believed she had run away to escape a troubled relationship, while others feared she had fallen victim to something far worse. Rumors of secret enemies and hidden dangers circulated, but none could be proven. In the absence of a body or clear evidence, the case grew cold. Yet the pain in questions remained very much alive for those who loved Jessica. Brandon Ellis, her fiancé, faced public scrutiny and suspicion, though he maintained his innocence throughout. The family's grief became tangled with frustration, as some questioned the handling of the investigation. Critics pointed to what they saw as police missteps, missed opportunities, and slow responses that might have made a difference if handled differently. Though no trial took place, the community remained divided. Some defended Brandon, citing the lack of evidence, while others whispered about motives and secrets that might never come to light. The media coverage slowed but never fully disappeared. Every so often, new information or a fresh tip would revive the search, prompting renewed efforts by the police and volunteers. Even years later, Jessica's disappearance remains a painful mystery. The case is officially open, with detectives continuing to review files and follow up on leads. For the people who knew her, the unanswered questions are a constant reminder of a life that ended too soon and a wedding day that will forever be marked by loss and silence. Jessica's disappearance left a wound that touched everyone connected to her life. Her family carried a pain that words can barely describe, a mixture of sorrow, confusion, and unanswered questions that never seemed to fade. Every day without answers became a reminder of a promise unfulfilled, a future stolen before it had a chance to begin. The community around her felt the loss deeply, too. A small town where everyone once celebrated together was now shadowed by suspicion and sadness. Neighbors, friends, and even strangers held their breath, hoping for closure that seemed just out of reach. For the investigators, the case was a test of patience and resolve. They wrestled with fragments of truth and faced the harsh reality that some mysteries remain unsolved, even with all the effort in the world. The emotional toll was heavy, each unanswered question a burden that weighed on their minds long after the spotlight faded. The story of Jessica Monroe became more than just a case file, it became a lesson in the fragility of trust and the hidden dangers that can lurk beneath even the happiest moments. This case reminds us that betrayal and secrets can sometimes overshadow love and hope. It challenges us to think about how well we truly know the people closest to us. What would you do if someone vanished on a day meant for joy and celebration? How would you face the possibility that everything you believed in could be shattered in an instant? If you have thoughts, theories, or simply want to share your feelings about this story, leave a comment below. Your voice matters, and together we can keep seeking answers and honoring the memory of those who are lost. Thank you for listening to Jessica Monroe's story, a mystery that still haunts many to this day. If you found this story compelling, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another true crime case like this one. Your support helps us bring more stories that uncover the truth behind the headlines. In our next video, we will explore a chilling case from New Orleans, a story filled with twists and secrets that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Thank you for watching, and for being part of this search for answers. We'll see you in the next story.